Oh, hey, you're still awake? Yeah, you know me, I have to always have a snack before I go to bed. But it took me a little while. I couldn't find anything that looked good. And I don't know, I just guess I just expected you to be asleep by the time I got back. But yeah. Oh, I just ended up eating a granola bar. That was it. So, you can't sleep? A story? Hmm. I mean, yeah, you kind of put me on the spot here. I am not exactly good at thinking out stuff right off the bat. Um, oh, I have an idea. Remember how, I think it was like a week ago, you talked about wanting to play Dark Souls, but, you said you were scared to because you've always heard how difficult they are. Well, I was thinking, I mean, at least it's kind of what helped me when I was first starting out. Uh, Maybe I could, kind of read you the intros to the games. For me at least, it knowing the story and kind of getting into it helped ease the nervousness of having to play such a difficult game for the first time. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we have Dark Souls 1 through 3, and we might as well start at the beginning. All right, hold on. Let me see here. I gotta find the actual intros and what they say. Oh, all right, here, I found it. All right, so this one is for Dark Souls 1, and it's actually the longest of the three of them. And I've always liked it. I thought it was really interesting. So here we go. In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity, heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then, from the dark, they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead, the witch of Isolus, and her daughters of chaos. Gwyn, the lord of sunlight and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone scales. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease, and Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark sign. Yes, indeed, the dark sign brands the undead, and in this land the undead are corralled and led to the north, where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate. Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen to leave the asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords, Lordran. So that was for Dark Souls 1. I always liked that one because, We have the dragons, and then we have Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight, with his powerful lightning bolts. We have the Witches of Izalith, who they use fire. It said they use firestorms. I always like that. Then there's Nito, the first of the dead, where he just released the death upon the dragons. And then there's the furtive pygmy, which, from what I know of the lore, is simply the humans, or who we, the players, play as. And then we also have Seath the Scaleless, a dragon that betrayed his own. But yeah, that's Dark Souls 1. Yeah, you want to keep going? Yeah, I didn't think you looked very tired yet either. Alright, so this is Dark Souls 2 now. It's a bit shorter, but also interesting. I'm still not very clear on this one. I haven't played Dark Souls 2 very much. I at least beat it one time, but didn't get too into it. But here we go. Perhaps you've seen it, maybe in a dream. A murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything once branded. The symbol of the curse, an augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light, none will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human, a thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land, far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drangleic. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gates, without really knowing why. Like a moth drawn to a flame, your wings will burn in anguish, time after time. For that is your fate, the fate of the cursed. So yeah, like I said, I'm not super clear on Dark Souls 2. But I mean, I guess, we still have the cursed, us humans. Talk about how, you're hollow now, you feed off souls. And, we got this place, Drang Lake, another king building another kingdom. So yeah, that's Dark Souls 2. I think it was a good game. It had some not amazing concepts in it, but it was overall a good game. That one I think will be fun to play. You still alright to keep going? Yeah? Alright. Well, I guess this is what wraps up the Dark Souls timeline, which would be Dark Souls 3. Unless maybe we get a fourth eventually, but that's later down the line. But here we go. Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discovered the truth of the old words. The fire fades and the lords go without thrones. When the link of the fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, Saint of the Deep. Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. The reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yorm the Giant. Only, in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones, and the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers. Dark Souls 3 is a really cool one in my opinion. It's the whole thing. In the first game, we're kind of chasing the goal of relighting the fire. And in Dark Souls 3, it kind of reels it back into that. Of that when the flame is threatened, unkindled ones will rise to hopefully relight the flame. But, some don't. The endings may change, but that'll have to wait for when we get into it. I did also want to read the Elden Ring intro because, It's probably my favorite, but if you're too tired, we don't have to. You sure? Alright, this one isn't super long either. Here we go. The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwin the Golden was the first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claim the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Arise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever brilliant Gold Mask, Via, the deathbed companion, the loathsome Dung Eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all knowing, and one other, whom grace would again bless, a tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring, and become the Elden Lord. That's for Elden Ring. I always love listening to that. There's the actual reading of it is much better than my voice, but I hope the general story and tone still comes across. It's an awesome story and game. Elden Ring's probably one of my favorites. I've beat it like 8 times by now. It's just a really good game. And I was thinking, you're pretty tired, so you look pretty tired at least. So I'll stop the lore dump for now. But I was thinking, maybe to also help out, to really get into Dark Souls despite the difficulty. Maybe we could do a bit of a co-op playthrough of the series. Having someone who's been through it before could really help you to get through it, if you want to. But that's for another day. It's getting pretty late, and we should probably go to bed. I hope my reading was good. Thank you. I had a lot of fun doing it. Maybe if you ever can't sleep again, I can do it for some other games too. But yeah, good night. I'll see you in the morning.